Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Today is Monday, May 3rd, 2021. The time being 5 p.m. The meeting of the Greensburg Board of Works is called to order. At this time, please silence electronic devices. To comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city requests that participants in this meeting complete a voluntary survey that is available on the table in the back of the room. Ready, please call the roll.
Jamie King.
Here.
Karen Russ.
Here.
Rodney King.
Here.
Glenn Tevis.
Here. Okay, you all should have received a copy of the April 5th, 2021 meeting. Any edits, additions, or corrections? If not, we'll take a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made by Glenn, second by Rodney. All those in favor, signify by saying
Real quick, was that for the April 5th meeting?
yes.
Okay. Sorry.
All those in favor of the motion to approve, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Special meeting April 12th, 2021. Any edits, additions, or corrections? If not, we'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Rodney, second by Dee. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I abstained.
Okay. A special meeting minutes for April 19, 2021. Any additions, edits, or corrections? If not, we'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Glenn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Rodney. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Again, I abstained.
Thank you. There being no old business, we will move directly to new business. Mark Carman with the Tree City Fall Festival is here to ask about street closures for the Fall Festival. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you for allowing the Fall Festival to come to you this evening. As in the past 42 years, minus 2 years of not having this festival, we've come to you to request the closure of streets surrounding the courthouse, as well as North Broadway to the square for the parade on Saturday. This year's festival is going to be hopefully one of the best we've ever had. Music is going to fit any genre that anybody could care to listen, from bluegrass to an orchestra, rock orchestra, to southern rock, to the Eagles that everybody loves. So with that, we request the streets around the square, and again, North Broadway to the square for the parade.
Okay, and those dates, please.
September 17th and 18th, and by the way, we do have a $1 million insurance policy in hand.
May I have a copy of that as well?
I will get you a copy. I only have the one, so I will get you a copy.
Typically overnight, we provide some type of security.
Yes, I will speak with the new chief, whoever that may be, or I can speak with Brendan now to arrange. I have a meeting, I'm going to set up a meeting with the fire chief, and I've already met with Brad over at emergency management, and we're working on an emergency plan.
Okay, thank you. Other questions?
You're on top of things, thank you.
Trying to be,
Good. Good that it's coming back.
we're glad to be back. We're glad to be out.
Yeah.
Historically, did you close Washington Street to the west of Broadway the night before so you can set the stage up?
It would be great to do that, but I understand there are businesses down there that rely on Thursday night business at the beach. They're gonna have their Thursday night patrons. We would be happy with 6 a.m. on Friday through midnight on Saturday night. Music Saturday night's gonna run up to about 11 o'clock, so that'll give us time to when that happens.
The section of Washington Street west of Broadway, though?
No.
You don't need that early for the stage or anything?
Nope.
Okay.
They'll roll in Saturday morning, or Friday morning, about 6:30.
Okay,
So,
just checking. Any other questions for Mark? If not, we take a motion to approve the closures for both the event and the parade as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Dee, seconded by Jamie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, thank you. We're looking forward to it. Thanks, Mark. Up next, we have Chief Stoermer. First item on the agenda, promotion of firefighters. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening. Before you is a memo requesting the promotion from probationary firefighter to private for 3 of our individuals that hired on a little over a year ago. We're now just getting them off probation onto their full-time shifts and a 100% full-fledged member of the Greensburg Fire Department.
All of these gentlemen have worked out well, is my understanding.
That is correct.
Any other questions for the chief on the promotions?
Well, after going forward, I would move approval of promotion of the 3 individuals, Mr. Jones, Mr. Nicholson, and Volk.
Motion's been made by Glenn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Rodney. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
Those are good things.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Right. Welcome aboard, gentlemen. Up next, the professional development.
Yes, we are in the planning stages currently of bringing in a speaker from the Santa Clara Fire Department in Santa Clara, California, who is a professional development and a promotion specialist. When we did our promotions for officers last year, as well as my hiring, it was stated that we would like local talent, and we need to try to develop local talent to make this happen. During our scoring session for captains, lieutenants, and assistant chiefs, I found a very big deficiency in their oral interview skills. And I have talked to them about that, and they are seeking additional help with that. So, as well as trying to provide professional development to our fire officers to make them better, I had reached out to Chief Przybowski about coming to Greensburg and bringing 3 programs to Greensburg over 2 days. Just a general fire officer development program, a oral promotion preparation for 4 hours, and then a program called Striving for Greatness, about just being a great firefighter and about putting some pride back into the job when we're seeing some people, just especially our younger generation, doing it just as a job, to try to ignite that passion again, or try to find that passion for them that they can do. So with that, we have some money budgeted in training, but I am currently in the process of applying for a grant from the Decatur County Foundation, who offers fire department specific grants every year. So this is part of their grant program, but they have special money earmarked just for the county fire departments in Decatur County. So we are eligible to apply, as well as strongly encouraged to apply. So we're looking at offsetting the cost from that. In talks with Mayor Marsh, we're also exploring the idea of having Mr. Przybowski come on his evening between and do a Striving for Greatness, or just like a community development, or community positivity speech as well. And we're kind of currently still in the works with that, but I wanted to bring this to you early so that we're not rushed at the June meeting for his scheduled date of June 3rd and 4th.
You said that the cost here that you have indicated, that is the full cost?
That is the full cost. That is airfare, travel.
And you say you have budgeted, but you're trying to find grants to supplement or not use the total budget?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
that's what I understood.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. So we do have that just in case, but so we could spend that money elsewhere, and
Sure.
as well as, tap into those funds that are, and help that, and even invite other fire departments from that, so the community foundation would kind of get that whole holistic approach that we've invited other county fire departments to.
And you intend to?
Yes,
Good.
absolutely.
I think this is a great thing for you to take on, and for the department and other departments in the county. Any other questions for the chief?
I appreciate you doing some of the night.
Absolutely, and I would like to make it somewhat semi-annual and things like that as we do that, because while I do have the experience and the education to give those talks, it comes different coming from somebody else that they've never met before versus somebody that they listen to every day. It's unfortunate that's that way, but I'm sure we've all experienced that one way or another, that always at, when you're 50 miles away from it, you could be an expert. When you're 50 miles or too closer, well, it's just another guy that's up the street.
Anybody that's been a parent understands that.
Yeah, for sure.
We take a motion to approve the chief's request to bring the fire chief from Santa Clara to speak. Motion's been made by Jamie, seconded by Dee. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, thank you very much, sir. Last thing up, the Greensburg Fire Department strategic plan.
All right, so one of my plans when I first came into this was to get a roadmap for the Greensburg Fire Department going forward for at least 5 years. Somewhat short-term in the 5-year realm, but something that is a roadmap for myself as well as the fire department officers of the department. So when I came in, I did a strengths and weaknesses analysis, as well as talked to retiring members as well as current members to judge what we were. I then came up with a list of 17 strategic objectives and put those out to every member of our department and asked the officers on that shift to narrow them down with their shift of what their firefighters feel is important for us to move forward, and how we not only change the department culture, but progress as a department and become more suitable for applications. How do we get past our, looking at a budget number or hey, this is how much you make if you work here, and make it a place where the morale's high, the equipment's good, the facilities are top notch. And so we can keep those and retain those individuals once we get them in the door. So with my experience in strategic plans, I've kept it to 7 objectives, only because much more than that in 5-year time, we're not going to be able to get very far with them. So this is an achievable number that we are working on, so you will see those starting on page 10. That's really the crux of the document, is that everything else, because this is a public document to be displayed on our website, is just background information, a little bit about the department, some of the apparatus that we have, how our organization works, and how the organizational chart sits. But with this is really just seeking support of this and of how we grow and what we can manage in 5 years. If we get it done, awesome. If not, we reevaluate it in 5 years and see if it needs to continue or if we have something else that's bigger and much more pressing. But this document right here will get us into the future. I have full confidence in, as well as those that come after me, and even our officers as they move up, will be able to follow this roadmap and like, we don't really know what to do and how to go. If you look at this document, that document's going to take you in the right direction. That without fail will be good. Some of the things are easier to achieve in here than others, and that's the way it's supposed to be. There's supposed to be some really hard things in here to accomplish and get done, but there's also supposed to be some easier things, some low-hanging fruit, so to speak, to keep up the morale, keep everybody on a positive note.
Just out of curiosity, was there input from other firemen
Other firemen, so there was.
in developing this plan?
So yeah, so every firefighter had the opportunity to speak up and put their 2 cents to this document.
Great job.
Even if it didn't get translated, it was written down and received. The strengths and weaknesses were one of those parts. I've talked to almost everybody, but I look for common themes just to dwindle them down a little bit so we don't have a 20-page document of just people griping.
Thank you.
What I guess I'd just like to say, I appreciate you taking the time to put this together, because I think this gives you a nice roadmap of where we need to go, and then we can start putting objectives together to get those things. So I support it. I think this is good. The one comment I would make, I'm not criticizing this, I'm supporting this. I'm making a comment to say this is May. We're coming up with our budgeting sessions here in the relative next few months. I know I've had a couple sidebar conversations with Assistant Chief Winning about pay and some ideas for some things we could do with that.
Right.
But I think, so what we probably ought to do is maybe have a subcommittee with, I'd be willing to do it either as a member of the council or a member of the board of works, but we'd have another member, probably somebody from the fire department, somebody from the police department, and kind of get in and at least start talking about some of those things. That way we have it planned out before we get to budgeting sessions, about maybe some of the things we can do. Otherwise, if we don't do something soon, it won't be 2022, it'll be 2023.
Right, and there's never a good time to put this out, there's a better time than not, that when COVID hit, it kind of like, all right, it shifted priorities, so I've been trying to work on an annual report, it's obviously late, and then this, so it's kind of like, which one am I going to get, because of dealing with everything else. But you're exactly right, the one thing that the objectives, I will say, are missing that I would like to have is timelines on them. And with that, though, is you have to be within that budget period to realistically talk about that, and,
I mean, some of the others,
I welcome any of that.
we can figure it out, but that one, I know if we're looking to hit
Absolutely.
next year, we've got to do it
That's
now.
a threat and an opportunity that the department as a whole sees as something to at least discuss.
I think there's opportunities actually after Assistant Chief Winning and I spoke.
For sure.
I think there are some opportunities that we could move some things around.
For sure.
And definitely make an impact for retention, right? So,
Absolutely.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Is this, so this is just reporting, you're not asking us to?
No, I'm just seeking support, basically getting you to understand and look at this and kind of keep this document. And I want to thank Kristen and her for making it look very, very professional and very nice as well on short notice. But this is something that you will see as we come forward with more requests, with requests for structures, requests for apparatus, requests for, looking at how do we incentivize some of our pay and reorganize our pay, not really necessarily ask for just a blank raise. It's all gonna come out of this document. So this is gonna be more of a informational / reference document that, so I'm just not coming up here, my staff's not just coming up here saying, hey, we want this because we're the fire department, we haven't had anything for a while. It all is gonna relate back to this document.
I appreciate it and look forward to sitting down and discussing some of these things.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Up next, Superintendent Jeff Smith with pretreatment permit renewals. Good evening.
You should receive in your packet pretreatment permit applications from Delta, Decatur Hills, and Honda. Basically just for information. When we do the pretreatment applications, next month I will bring you the actual permit for you to review and sign so we can go ahead and continue. It's just renewal, so we really haven't changed anything. Delta, I think, might flown my idea up just a little bit since the last pretreatment. That's about it.
Well, that was my question with her, what would they?
Yeah, Decatur Hills has stayed the same, Honda has really basically stayed the same. Delta's had a plating line which increased their flow just a little bit, but they're still meeting all their pretreatment limits and everything else.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more questions?
We take a motion to approve the permit renewals.
Well, you won't get the renewals till next month.
Okay.
This is just the applications.
The applications.
Other than my morning.
Yeah, I
before we
appreciate it.
I bring the permits to you.
Okay.
Very good, thank you.
A couple things from my office. We have a proposal from Office 360, who is sort of our office provider. They do copy paper and everything like that. For our furniture purchase for City Hall, this would be from the bond proceeds as well as part of our remodel. Again, furniture was not part of that, and we are working on conference rooms, lobbies, meeting spaces, planning office, my office, council chambers, building zoning planning conference room, and I think there's a couple other odd pieces in and out of there. Office 360 is a state-provided vendor, so they've met all of the big requirements, and we've worked with them to get a fairly substantial deal. I know it is a lot of pieces and a lot of money, but we're furnishing a very large portion of our public spaces when we go back.
Have you received input from each department, what their needs were?
Yeah, the ones that are affected.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll take a motion to approve the purchase of furniture from Office 360.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Rodney. Is there a second?
Thank
Seconded by Glenn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
you. Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, thank you. Up next, we have a municipal advisor agreement from Reedy Financial Group. This, take a moment and kind of clarify a couple things. One, this is to review the bonds and the rates associated with them that are a part of the police station from 2005, and then the addition of the fire department component on the back of it in 2010. 2010. There are bonds associated with that, so the engagement with Reedy would be to reassess those and figure out how to help us use those funds going forward when those fall off. The way it was sort of worded is it was worded like we were building a new fire station with it. That's not accurate. What we were looking to do is review those intentionally to probably put them towards public safety, and it would make logical sense, the fire department being the oldest building in that division, to try to invest those funds with that. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I think maybe I've had some input that maybe we need to table this and do some more investigatory work, which I'm happy to do, but I also am happy to answer questions at the moment. Anything else?
If my colleagues have no other questions, I would move that we table this until the next meeting.
Motion's been made to table this. I'll second that. Seconded by Jamie. All those in favor of tabling, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. We will continue to work on that. Thank you much. And the last thing, as far as business, we have purchase of interior, exterior signs. We've come back a couple times with some green sign materials. These are the exterior front of the building sign and the interior ADA compliant signs for all of the rooms. Before, there was a part of a change order was a reduction in ADA compliant room signs from our contractor. So that amounted to about $2,500 or $3,000. So we got that money back as part of the bid package because they had the really thin, cheap plastic signs. So we took those out. We're getting some nicer, more aesthetically pleasing pieces. So we have some of that money back as part of our contract. It's just not represented in here. As with other signs, the signage was never part of our contract for the exterior stuff.
So this is an estimate, or are we purchasing with this estimate or is it subject to adjust change?
They send us estimates, we approve those, and then they put all the work orders together. But it's,
So when we're approving an estimate, then we would see the work orders and actually approve the payment. Is that right? Or no?
you would approve the payment as a claim,
Okay.
but these have
All right.
been, it's kind of odd. They give you an estimate before they process the work order, and once the work order is processed, then it goes into production.
We don't expect significant adjustments.
No. For the ADA signs, I selected 30 as our quantity. That should get us pretty close. If we don't use them all, we won't pay for them all. If we use some more, it'll just be a claim for a couple more. But that should get us very, very close.
This includes that big sign in the lobby, right?
The one on the front of the building. The one in the lobby's already been, that was the previous.
That's right.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Signs are cheap.
No, signs are not cheap. Green signs, obviously local, but do fantastic work for us and have been good to work with. So we're excited to have their product as part of our remodel. Take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Dee. Is there a second? Seconded by Glenn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you all. Approval of the claims. You all should have received those in your packets. Any comments or corrections? If not, we'll take a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made by Glenn, seconded by,
Rodney.
made by Rodney, seconded by Jamie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Before we adjourn, at the city council meeting tonight, Chief Stoermer will be recognized for his completion of Executive Fire Officer program. It is part of the flagship program for the National Fire Academy and provides senior fire officials with a broad perspective. So we are very excited to have Chief Stoermer have this authority granted to him by the 116th Congress of the United States. And we're excited to be able to give him this at our city council meeting later this evening, but I thought the board should be. With that, is there anything else that comes before the board? If not, we take a motion to adjourn.
Mayor,
Yeah, hold on, Ron.
did you want to mention the possible special meeting?
Oh, that would be a good point. We may need a meeting 2 weeks from today, May 17th.
Over 6 o'clock.
Dee, can you do 5 or would you rather do 6?
6 works better, start at 5.
What do you split the difference? 5:30? Okay. May 17th, 5:30 p.m. We will assume to do it in person here. If something changes, I will be sure to let you know. If it isn't necessary, then we won't have it, obviously. Motion's been made by Rodney to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Thank you all very much. See you then.